everybody's going somewhere in a crowd or all alone, trying to reach their destination, trying to find their way back home. Everybody's in a hurry, you can see it in their eyes. It's a lonely desperation and a paper-thin disguise. Every pilgrim needs a highway, interstate or two-lane road, subway station in the city, seeking shelter from the cold. On a platform at the depot, when that lonesome whistle blows, every pilgrim needs a highway, any way to get back home. I saw him standing on the shoulder of the highway headed west, just a guitar and a suitcase and a broken dream, I guessed. I wondered what he left behind him, a rising star for all I know, who fell to earth when he got older. Now he's got nowhere to go. Every pilgrim needs a highway, interstate or two-lane road, subway station in the city, seeking shelter from the cold. On the platform at the depot, when that lonesome whistle blows, every pilgrim needs a highway, any way to get back home. Every pilgrim needs a highway, any way to get back home. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, dry is good. Dry is better. Thank you. All right. I've been writing a lot of songs with a lady called Tammy Rogers, who's in a band called the Steel Drivers, and they're a good band, I think. And they're, you know, any band that loses Chris Stapleton as a lead singer and manages to keep going and be just as good, just different. My hat goes off to them. And Tammy and I got to know each other at a music industry dinner that we were both invited to, and we both didn't really want to be there because we were both kind of pissed at them because Tammy had just won a Grammy and they didn't recognize her, and I had just made a record with a guy called Mac Wiseman that got some really good attention, and that wasn't mentioned neither. So we just sat there and nursing our sour grapes and a glass of wine and talked about some folks that we knew and about the Steel Drivers and about Richard Bailey, the banjo player, what a good guy he was, and our mutual friends in that band, and decided we should write some songs together. And so, as people in Nashville sometimes do, they actually follow up on writing together, and so we did the next week. And this is the first song we ever wrote together, and that was in 2017. I think at this point we probably have 140, 150 songs that we wrote together, but this one is still special to me. It's the first one that we wrote. It's called Old Railroads. We did a little songwriting workshop here today, and got to talking about the importance of railroads and what a beautiful romantic image the steam train is, and certainly one that still moves me. And So here's this tune called Old Railroads. I've been thinking about old railroads running through Virginia in the rain. The pistons and the steam, I've seen them in my dreams. My mind's been stuck on those old trains. Ride, let me ride. Everybody lining up for miles to see Abe Lincoln's coffin roll on by. Dignified and slow, they watched that engine roll. It must have been a wonder to behold. Thinking about old railroads, I don't really know how to explain. I'm bound to board a plane, but that ain't near the same. My mind's been stuck on those old trains. Thanks. Thank you very much. Speaking of the Steel Drivers, here's one that they've recorded that Tammy and I wrote, and it's an unusual song for the Steel Drivers because they write a lot of drinking stuff and rowdy kind of stuff, and this is a song about getting married, and it's called I Choose You. I choose you every day in 100 different ways. I make the choice to stay. I could hit the open road and run my life away, but I choose you every day. I see lovers all around me giving up and giving in. They've decided that it's over before it begins. Is it easier to stay or is it easier to go? Well, I don't have the answer, but there's one thing that I know. I choose you every day in 100 different ways. I make the choice to stay. I could hit the open road and run my life away, but I choose you every day. It's a wondrous thing to turn around and see where we are. It's a good thing love forgives, and it's a blessing love is blind. If you ask me how we did it, I'd say one day at a time. I choose you every day in 100 different ways. I make the choice to stay. I could hit the open road and run my life away, but I choose you every day. I said I could hit the open road and run my life away, but I choose you every day. Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, I'll try one that I hadn't played in a little bit, and it's on that record called To Live in Two Worlds that Tom referenced, that to my great surprise was nominated for a Grammy in the Best Bluegrass Album category, and goes to show that, shoot, you can be nominated for a Grammy and only sell 200 copies of a record, so don't let that stop you. But no, that was a great thing, especially because the news that I was nominated were brought to me by my great friend Peter Cooper, who's passed away since. And this is a song about some of my musical heroes. I like to write a lot of stuff about history and not so much stuff about that's going on in my head, because that's pretty boring to me. I like to write about other folks. And this one is about some of my musical heroes. One of them was called Blind Willie McTell, and the other is called Skip James, a great bluesman. And then, of course, Charlie Poole of the North Carolina Ramblers. And this song was written in 2019, so the last verse is changed a little bit in terms of meaning, but still it works, I think. It just doesn't rhyme with 2023. That's very loud all of a sudden. Yeah, just set it and leave it. Oh, makes sense. Way downtown Atlanta, where the streetcars run, early in the evening, before the day is done. If I was in Georgia, boys, I'd tell you where I'd go. I'd hear Blind Willie singing, Mama, turn your lamp down low. And if I was in Mississippi, around Bentonia town, I'd go from door to door, searching for the sound of that hard time killing floor in a minor key. Skip James playing the blues, tuned to open D. 1 foot in a world that's gone and 1 foot here today. What I wouldn't give to hear them sing and play long ago and far away, and yet they're still alive. And I long to hear them testify 1925. Traveler of Carolina way, 90 years ago I wouldn't hesitate. I'd hear Charlie and his Ramblers playing some old shack, and maybe I would stick around, never make it back. 1 foot in a world that's gone and 1 foot here today. What I wouldn't give to hear him sing and play long ago and far away, and yet to hear them testify. 1925. Thinking about a freight train, long and southern bound. Rails ringing in my head, don't let your deal go down. It's strange times in the country, boys, and I'm stuck here in between 1925 and 2019. One foot in a world that's gone and one foot here today. What I wouldn't give to hear them sing and play long ago and far away, and yet they're still alive. But I long to hear them testify in 1925. To hear him testify, 1925. Thanks. All right, here's one that I wrote with Peter Cooper, the guy that I just mentioned. He was one of my best friends. He was a wonderful songwriter and a great journalist and music writer as well. He wrote a great book called Johnny's Cash and Charlie's Pride about things that he encountered in Nashville with characters like Cowboy Jack Clement and John Prine and folks like that. And we wrote it together with a guy called Mag Wiseman, who was one of the founding fathers of bluegrass music, and we had become really good friends with Mac, and he had told us all these stories about growing up during the Great Depression in Primora, Virginia. Mac at that time was 92 years old. He remembers Jimmy Rogers on the radio, and so these stories were profoundly moving to us, and we took notes and memorized some of the stories, and then at some point asked Mac, "Hey Mac, would it be cool with you if we turned these into songs with you?" And he said, like, "Boys, I would love that." And so we wrote those songs. We went over to his house 11 Sunday afternoons in a row, and he told stories, and we wrote them down and wrote music for him, and then we turned them into a record. And at 92, it was a little hard for Mac to get in and out of his house and into a recording studio. So we had other people sing these songs, people that were influenced by the great Mag Wiseman, by his singing and playing and writing and all of that. And Mac was good friends with John Prine also. So we asked John if he would be kind enough to come in and sing a song on this record, and he did, and it's the title song of this album. It's called I Sang the Song, the musical biography of the great Mag Wiseman. And every line in this song is something that Mac said at some point, and we couldn't really figure out how to tie it together into a part of the biography. But we kept all those lines, and one morning I got up at 5 o'clock and figured out a way how they could work together, and I called Peter on the other side of town, and he wrote some music for it, and John Prine sang it. And obviously, since then, John Prine passed away in 2020 from COVID. Mag Wiseman passed away about 6 years ago because he was old. And Peter Cooper, my best friend, passed away last December at the age of 52. So of the four people that created the song, I'm sort of the last man standing. And when Peter passed away, I sort of made a vow that every show that I would play from here on out, I would play this song and dedicate it to Mag Wiseman, to the great John Prine, and to my brother Peter Cooper. So here he goes. I sang the song. I could hear the highway call long before the road ran through. Dreams are frail and not much else. What else can a poor boy do? Cali friends and the cliffs of Dover. Name a city, I've been there. Women laugh and babies cry. It sounds the same most anywhere. Was baptized in the old South River. 3 times forward I've been blessed. Just another young hillbilly. Who would have known? Who could have guessed? John, it ain't bragging if you've done it. Name the tune, I sang the song. And now I'm old, no way to hide. I wouldn't care to truth be told. Once a man and twice a child. But I got a hand to hold. I could hear the highway call long before the road ran through. Dreams are free, nothing else is. What else can a poor boy do? Dreams are free and not much else is. What else can a poor boy do? Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. All right. This is a relatively new song here. I wrote this one with my buddy Mike Compton, who's a great mandolin player, and I had heard about a radio preacher in the early 70s in Nashville. His name was Prophet Omega, and that's what he called himself, and he broadcast from his little apartment, and his radio sermons are sort of legendary at this point. I think Sam Bush has them memorized word by word. It's part comedy, part truth, part folk art, and I was listening to one of Prophet Omega's sermons one day, and he said, "Why would you eat neck bone if you can have the ham?" And I thought to myself, well, there's a smart man there, and a philosophy and theology that I can subscribe to. So I asked Mike, do you think we could write a song called Neck Bone and have it make sense? And he said, of course we could. And we did. So here's a tune called Neck Bone. This is Feeding Back here. Burn down the house just to have a piece of toast? Why eat neck bone when you could have the roast? Leave a little for the cat and a little for the dog. Why bait the hook and throw the line? The fish already caught. Why go whole hog when all you need's a hand? Why keep up appearances when no one gives a damn? Why would you pick a bushel when all you need's a peck? Why worry about your reputation when it's already wrecked? Why overlook an orchid when searching for a rose? The pigs are flying overhead and hell's already froze. Come over here, sweet mama, give me one more kiss. We ain't gonna change much this afternoon, the world's the way it is. Come over here, sweet mama, give me one more kiss. Ain't gonna change much this afternoon, the world's the way it is. Thanks. All right, here's one about Nashville. Nashville is a funny old place. It's been my home for 20 years, and I still love it, but it's different from what it used to be, and probably has to be. And but every once in a while, I think about what it was like 20 years ago, and about some folks that were still around back then, some folks that moved to a different place, some folks that passed away. And one morning I was driving through Nashville, and a live music club called Douglas Corner had just closed down, and just kind of bummed me out that it was gone, because it was a place where a lot of good stuff happened for a lot of people, me included. And I just got a cup of coffee and sat in my car and thought about this for a little while, and went like, man, things have to change. And this song fell out. It's called Nashville in the Morning. Nashville in the morning is still beautiful to me, 'cause the cranes and the high rises, that ain't what I see. I see a girl with a guitar who's wrapped inside a dream. Nashville in the morning, Nashville in the morning is music to my ears. When the city is still sleeping and the bridesmaids disappear, someone's working on a song no one's ever gonna hear. Nashville in the morning, it's all different now, but I don't care. When I close my eyes, it's all still there. So much lost in the town the twang was born in, but I got Nashville, Nashville in the morning. Nashville in the morning, new strings on an old guitar. I think about some old friends and I wonder where they are. I grab a cup of coffee and I get back in my car. Nashville in the morning, Nashville in the morning, it makes me feel right at home. I walk an empty alley, but I don't feel alone. I'm grateful in the company of all that's long gone on. It's all different now, but I don't care. When I close my eyes, it's all still there. So much lost in the town the twang was born in. But I got Nashville, Nashville in the morning. So much lost in the town the twang was born in. But I got Nashville, Nashville in the morning. Thank you. Nashville in the morning. Still there. All right. Play a little instrumental for you. Since we just talked about Tony and Norman Blake. I can't play near as good as any of those guys, but shoot, I'll try. This is an old gospel tune that I've loved for a long time. Tony played it, and before him, Clarence White played it. It's called I Am a Pilgrim. So I am a pilgrim. Thank you. I can't say I remember the sun rising every day, but I remember every step when the ground fell away. I remember how I called on you and you lent a helping hand, but how I held on to believe I still don't understand. You see, it started out so small, it was hard to recognize the emotion of the moment when I opened up my eyes. And all this time to find out that there's no one who can tell how to raise an ocean from the bottom of a well. Well, I held on to that handle and my bones were getting tired. I dug and I dug deep, then I dug a little more. And come the gilded sunset, I was barely through the crust, but I did what I was doing. I was doing what I must. You see, it started out so small, it was hard to recognize the importance of the moment when I opened up my eyes. And all this time to find out that there's no one who can tell how to raise an ocean from the bottom of a well. And draw water from the ground. I wouldn't want to name it, but I'm grateful that I found whatever keeps me going when my bones are getting tired. Another pull, another pail, eternally inspired. You see, it started out so small, it was hard to recognize the importance of the moment when I opened up my eyes. And all this time to find out that there's no one who can tell how to raise an ocean from the bottom of a well. Yeah, all this time to find out that there's no one who can tell how to raise an ocean from the bottom of a well. Thank you. That's a song that I wrote with a guy from Australia who was sent to me by an Australian publisher one day, and you never know what happens when you write with somebody you never met, and that was a good day. His name is Brad Butcher. Look him up. Good guy. All right. Here's another one that Tammy and I wrote, Tammy Rogers. It's a song about getting older. No matter how old you are, you'll know, we all know a little bit about that. And if you don't yet, you'll find out. Anyway, it's a song that'll be on a record that I'm working on at the moment with my friend Eric Brace, who's a great East Nashville songwriter. And it's called What You Get for Getting Older. What you get for getting older is a little less time, but the miles mean so much more now as you move on down the line. You're losing the desire to look back over your shoulder. That's what you get for getting older. The richer the color, the deeper the flavor, sipping it slow, 'cause it's meant to be safe. It's not about the high, It's not about the blues, it's that feeling you get when it's going down smooth. What you get for getting older is a little less time, but the miles mean so much more now as you move on down the line. You're losing the desire to look back over your shoulder. That's what you get for getting older. Those moments led you to this roads that you took, turns that you missed, enjoying the sand as it slips through your hand, and earning the wisdom to not give a damn. What you get for getting older is a little less time. The miles mean so much more now as you move on down the line. You're losing the desire to look back over your shoulder. That's what you get for getting older. Yeah, you're losing the desire to look back over your shoulder. That's what you get for getting older. Thank you very much. Thank you. Made you cry.
Made me cry anyway.
Damn, what do you think? How do you think I feel?
Song after song, though, you're killing me.
You made me cry last song.
Good.
Oh yeah, he got me a couple times.
That's good. I like it.
Laugh and cry.
All right. Talking about Norman Blake. This is not one of his songs, but it's inspired sort of by Norman Blake. It's a train song, another train song about the Queen and Crescent. The Queen and Crescent was a train that ran from Cincinnati to New Orleans. And what a beautiful name that is. Today we have cars called Prius. Nobody ever said, man, that's a beautiful word and a beautiful car. But back then we had trains that had beautiful names and looked beautiful. The Queen and Crescent was green with golden trim. And imagine that, rolling all the way from Cincinnati to New Orleans. So here's the song, The Queen and Crescent. Headed out on 43 in the year of 26, pulling Pullmans and a dining car, rolling through the towns, flying through the sticks. You could hear the whistle blowing near and far. To me it seemed the engineer was a noblest profession, guiding cars along the track through the Great Depression. And nothing in my memory is ever quite so pleasant than riding in my mind on the Queen and Crescent. South from Cincinnati, all through the Commonwealth, across the Great and into Tennessee, rolling through the depot, down on Main and 12th, steaming all the way to New Orleans. To me it seemed the engineer was a noblest profession, guiding cars along the tracks through the Great Depression. And nothing in my memory is ever quite quite so pleasant, riding in my mind on the Queen and Crescent. Until the year of 49, till finally she was running out of steam. Now all that's left's a dream that's rolling down the line of golden trim on fine Virginia green. And to me it seemed the engineer was a noblest profession, guiding cars along the tracks through the Great Depression. Nothing in my memory is ever quite so pleasant, riding in my mind on the Queen and Crescent, riding in my mind on the Queen and Crescent. Thank you. All right. I made a record last year in the summer, around this time, with a guy called Martin Simpson. I don't know if you know Martin Simpson. He's an incredible guitar player from England. He's 70 years old now, and he's lived in the States for 14 years. And he's one of those cats like Bert Jansch or John Renbourn who can play English and Scottish music with as much authority as they can play American music. He's a great banjo player too. And in 1916 and 1918, a guy called Cecil Sharp, an Englishman, came to Appalachia to look for folk songs, English folk songs that people in England didn't remember anymore, but people here in Appalachia were still singing them, or in Appalachia were singing them. And so he came here with his assistant, and they went from farm to farm, from house to house, where they thought somebody knew a song that they might want to hear, and Cecil would write down the music, and Maud Carpellis would write down the lyrics. And that turned into a big collection of over 1,200 songs. And I heard about that collection many years ago and got it and just fell in love with those songs. There's a lot of different versions of these songs, and I always wanted to do something with these songs, but didn't quite know how to approach it because there's so many songs and hard to make something cohesive out of them. But when I was introduced to Martin Simpson, we had an idea to focus on songs that were contributed to this collection by two women, Jane Gentry and Mary Sands. And so we called about 80-some songs that those two women had sung for Sharp from this collection, and presented the idea to record some of these songs in Nashville and some of them in England with English folk singers and American folk singers, and present them sort of in a new way, but still just with two guitars, but in a more modern way. And Topic Records, which is the oldest folk label in England, agreed to partner up with us to make this record, which we did. And Martin came to Nashville. We recorded there for a couple of days and then flew to England together and did the rest there. And it's going to come out in September 29. It's called Nothing But Green Willow, the songs of Jane Gentry and Mary Sands. And I think it's a cool project. And so a couple years ago, I wrote a song about Cecil Sharp with my friend Tim Stafford. So long story short, this was just a sales pitch to remind you that this record's coming out, and to introduce this song to you about Cecil Sharp and how he fell in love with Appalachia and with the people and the beautiful music of Appalachia, just like I did. This is called Where the Bluebirds Call. Searching for a song up in the mountains, looking for a ballad in those hills. Sometimes it felt as if the old tunes found him, though long ago the music haunts him still. England is a cold place in October, and Virginia is so pretty in the fall. He tells himself if he could do it over, he'd end his days where the bluebirds call. There's no place else so pleasant in his memory, like a melody and story it entwines, hour after hour filled in reverie, listening on the front porch in the pines. England is a cold place in October, but Virginia is so pretty in the fall. He tells himself if he could do it over, he'd end his days where the bluebirds call. And Maria sang of Barbariel, sweet William in his long and narrow grave, the briar and the rose together swelling, and the girl who died for the love she gave. England is a cold place in October, Virginia is so pretty in the fall. Tells himself if he could do it over, he'd end his days where the bluebirds call. Thanks a lot. All right. Let's see what else we got here. This is a tune I wrote with a great singer and songwriter called Kim Ritchie, and she recorded it on one of her albums. It's called Angel's Share. We got the idea from that, for that title, from the Garden and Gone magazine. They had an article on Pappy Van Winkle, which you guys probably know a lot more about than I do, being here in Kentucky. And so we learned about the term Angel's Share, which is supposedly a certain amount of whiskey that evaporates from the barrels. And we thought, man, that might be a good song title someday. And so we wrote this tune here called Angel's Share. No sleep, no rest, and the worst ain't over yet. One more to dull the ache for old Lang Syne, for heaven's sake. I'm gonna drink it all up till there's nothing left. I'm gonna drink it all up till I forget that I ever did love you and that but the angels share. Under my bed, I'm gonna drink it all up till there's nothing left. I'm gonna drink it all up till I forget that I ever did love you and that I ever did care. I'm gonna drink it all up till there's nothing left but the angels share. I can't stand the dark, I can't stand the light. I'm scared of the day and I'm scared of the night. Last call, last drop. When it's gone, that's when I'll stop. I'm gonna drink it all up till there's nothing left. I'm gonna drink it all up till I forget that I ever did love you and that I ever did care. I'm gonna drink it all up till there's nothing left but the angels share. Thank you. Angels share. All right. Play you another one that I wrote with Tim Stafford. He's a good guy. He's been in a band called Blue Highway for 30 years now. I'm sure you guys, if you're into bluegrass, you've heard about Blue Highway. Wonderful band. Tim is one of the singers. He's the guitar player, great flat picker, and also an incredible songwriter. And we wrote a lot of songs together over the last couple of years since the beginning of the pandemic. We got together on Zoom a couple times every week and wrote because there wasn't much else to do but sit at the house and write songs, which I consider myself one of the lucky ones that I was able to do that and not lose my mind. But anyway, this is a song that fell out of those writing sessions. It's called Enough to Keep You Going for a While. It's about two neighbors of mine. I live out in the country about 30 miles east of Nashville, and one of my neighbors is a guy who talks nonstop when he sees you, and he gives you all the news from the neighborhood. He's a really good guy, but he'll stand there for a little while when he starts talking at you. And there's another guy in the neighborhood who can't talk at all. He had an accident many years ago and lost the ability to speak. And so one Sunday afternoon I was looking out across the street into my neighbor Ray's yard, and there was Ray and the other guy sitting on a bench, and Ray was talking nonstop as usual and the other guy was listening because that's all he can do. And I thought, man, that's a beautiful image of humanity right there, and an example of how people can get along if they want to. And so Tim and I wrote this song about it. It's called Enough to Keep You Going for a While. One can't talk and one can't stop. They come together as they walk. Oh, sorry, wrong. Here we go. One can't talk and one can't stop. They come together as they walk on this hot and humid earth. He's 65 alone next Friday, but he's got to have it his way on this hot and humid earth. It's a blessing and a curse. I believe there's good in people, but sometimes it's hard to find. When you almost give up faith, you're about to lose your mind. Someone walks your way and gifts you with a smile, and that's enough to keep you going for a while. Left home to fight a war, came back home and closed the door, and would again for what it's worth. Can't kick him out, can't keep him in, don't care to know where he has been on this hot and humid earth. Whiskey flows, but blood comes first. I believe there's good in people, but sometimes it's hard to find. When you almost give up faith, you're about to lose your mind. Someone walks your way and gifts you with a smile, and that's enough to keep you going for a while. If it ain't one thing, it's another. We're the keeper of our brother. Some days it's better, some days worse on this hot and humid earth. I believe there's good in people, but sometimes it's hard to find. When you almost give up faith and you're about to lose your mind, someone walks your way and gifts you with a smile, and that's enough to keep you going for a while. Someone walks your way and gifts you with a smile, and that's enough to keep you going for a while. Thank you. All right. I'll play one or two more and then we'll get out of here. And Matt is going to play and Alicia is going to play later, and I'm going to drive back to Nashville and write a song tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with my friend Charlie Steffel. This is a song that's also going to be on this new record that I'm working on. A couple of years ago, my friend Eric Brayson, Peter Cooper and I, we were supposed to play a tour of Ireland, and we were getting ready to go, and a snow cyclone hit Ireland and everything was closed down, and Eric was already in Spain and he couldn't find his way to Ireland, and Peter decided to hell with it, he's not going to go at all after all, and so I was the only one who flew over there, and Eric finally made it there from Spain, and he wrote this song about trying to go places and not quite making it. I was supposed to go somewhere, flying on a plane, but the wind started howling, and then came the rain. So I called Lisa Timmons, and she said, Tom, you're stuck. The whole East Coast shut down, and all of Ireland's messed up. But you can't change the weather, you can't unscramble eggs, and you can't change the future, poking around in the dress. Come to think about it, ain't that much you can do. If you can't change the weather, let the weather blow through. What good is a ticket if the trip isn't on? What good is a suitcase when the chance for going's long gone? Well, I don't know the answer, and I don't really care, because sitting here moaning won't get me over there. And you can't change the weather, you can't unscramble this, you can't change the future, poking around in the dress. Come to think about it, there ain't that much you can do. And if you can't change the weather, let the weather blow through. Peter Cooper's in Nashville, and Brace is stranded in Spain. You can take it or leave it, ain't no use to complain. Last night I lay dreaming of old Waterford town, of number 9 whiskey and the snow falling down. You can't change the weather, and you can't unscramble it, and you can't change the future, poking around in the dress. Come to think about it, there ain't that much you can do. And if you can't change the weather, let the weather blow through. If you can't change the weather, let the weather blow through. Thank you very much.
That's the best one yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Just thinking about snow quite good.
Okay, I'll leave you with this one here. It's another Tim Stafford co-write. If you feel like it, you can sing along. It's pretty easy to pick up. I was over there in Ireland right at the beginning of the pandemic. We flew over there to play a tour, and we drove to from Dublin Airport. We drove to the first gig, and the radio came on, and they said, "Well, the first case of the coronavirus has just been discovered in County Wicklow in the town of Arlo." And that was the town where the first gig was supposed to be. So needless to say, that one was gone. And then the next day they discovered more cases, and we got a little nervous and went like, well, we might want to think about canceling this tour and getting a couple of plane tickets and making it back to the States, which we did. And we got back to Chicago about 8 hours before everything shut down. But right before that, we just had to wait at a hotel in County Cork, West Cork, for about 5 days, and it was raining like crazy, and wind was howling, and 2 pubs were open, and people were still going to pubs because they weren't afraid yet, and so we went to the pub too, because what else are you going to do? And I had this melody that I was playing with, and I brought it back and played it for Tim Stafford and said, I got this melody, but I have no words for it. The only thing that I can come up with is by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic Way. The wild Atlantic Way is a scenic route right there where we were stuck in Ireland. So those words just kept coming back to me. And I said, Tim, is that too simple? Just those couple of words by the wild Atlantic Way? And he said, no, that's fine. It's a great chorus. And so we constructed this whole song around it. It's a simple song, and if you want to sing along, please do. And I'd like to thank you guys for coming out and listening to me today, and for Tom for putting on a show here. It's a cool idea and a cool spot. And if you want to have CDs, you can buy CDs up there. I have this special where if you want to buy a CD, if you do buy a CD and you end up not liking it, you can send it back to me, and in return I'll send you one that I don't like. So you can find them all up there. Anyway, sing along to this song if you feel like it. Sing loud so they can hear it in over there in Ireland. I'll walk the cliffs by the breaking of the day. Hear the seabirds calling through the west. I will turn my face against the wind, and then I'll see my old friends once again. By the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic way. I pint at Nolan's with the girls and with the boys, while the fire sings a joyful note. Strolling slowly down the narrow lane, soaking in the gentle West Cork rain. By the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic way. Forget the blue against the green. It's the finest sight my eyes have ever seen. The tales and tunes will all remain, like the sun that's sinking in the bay. By the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic way. Let's see if you can sing along to that. By the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic way. I see a couple of mouths moving, but I can't hear much, so maybe we'll try it one more time before we get out of here. So by the wild Atlantic way, here we go. By the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild, by the wild Atlantic way. That's beautiful. Thank you guys very much. Good night. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.